I'm trying to stay up and stay woke through the midnight prayer gate so I can pray for Donald Trump. Because I want to hit it at that hour. But I'm gonna share something with y'all. I recorded a video before I left the office, but I didn't get a chance to release that video because um, I was running out of time. My time was running really, really short, and I had to be somewhere. And I saw something extremely disturbing. It's now percolated through all the news, but I saw an Iranian news story where the Iranian media came out and they said um, that the Donald Trump assassination attempt was fake and it was staged, and it was the video is going to release in the morning. But I think it's important that I tell you guys this now because I got a sneaking suspicion that they're going to move on this quickly. Um, and so basically, this guy in Iran is saying that um, the Donald Trump assassination attempt was staged or faked, meaning now you know where the talking point was spread from that you see all over the place that it was staged or it was fake. And he pointed out the fact that the imagery that was portrayed in the media was supposed to be noble and patriotic and display strength, which the image that everybody chose out of the millions of images that were taken that day did display strength. That's the one that was highlighted, but all the rest of the images didn't, right? But nonetheless, I'm watching the Iranian news story, and I'm like, why would Iran? Because it's state-sponsored media in Iran, so their media is only going to say what the government wants them to say. Um, Kind of like our MSNBCs, and our liberal media, state-sponsored media, and to some extent, the conservative media is state-sponsored as well, depending on what the talking point is. But I close that, and I immediately see um, News Nation really, and they were the very first person to release this. News Nation comes out. News Nation says that there was an Iranian plot to assassinate Donald Trump. But the verbiage is dumb. The verbiage is the Secret Service has been warned about an Iranian plot to assassinate Donald Trump. And over the past 3 weeks, the Secret Service protection around him has been increased. And I'm like, hold on. We just witnessed something happened to this man, and there was no increase in Secret Service. If there was anything, there was a decrease in the Secret Service. So I'm sitting there saying, hold on, bro. Why would this talking point come out now? And then it dawns on me. They got caught with the first patsy. The very first patsy. It didn't work out the way they thought it was going to work. So now they are going to line up Iran or Persia as the person who attacks him and do something massive. I'm talking about big, massive, that leads us into World War III. And the news commentator in Iran was saying, you know, Donald Trump needs to stand trial for what he did to Soleimani. And the more I sat there and thought about it, I said, hold on. Why would the state sponsored media of Iran come out and say this unless they realize or they got wind that they're about to be set up? And so they came out and said it before it hit our news. So their statement going out was, yeah, we don't like the fact that we think it was a setup, it was a stage, we're going to take a swipe at him, but we want him to stand trial. We don't want him to be assassinated. We're not plotting against him. We want him to stand trial. And so what it tells you is that our deep state is lining up to, again, take another assassination attempt at Donald Trump. And this time they're going to blame it on Iran. Now, here's what I want you to watch. Go watch Iranian news If I'm not mistaken, it should be daytime in Iran. Go turn on Iranian news, go to Iranian newspapers, use Google Translate, and read what the state sponsored media in Iran is saying. If they're pushing the heavy narrative of no, we want him brought to justice, we want him persecuted, we want him put on trial, then you know for a fact they're about to strike and blame it on them relatively quickly. Because you see, they can't let Iran or Persia prop up the narrative that we don't want him dead. And if you want to pray for anything tonight, pray for the narrative to fall apart. Because they cannot do anything without that narrative being in place. They can't. They have to have a strong narrative. Now notice they rolled out every station rolled out the same talking points at the end of the day. If I'm not mistaken, this is the second day of the RNC convention. It's 3-day convention, if I'm not mistaken. And so I'm thinking tomorrow might be the day they try something relatively big. But um, it only makes sense that they have to try something. They absolutely have to try something. Um, and so if you're a praying person, which many of you are, again, I'm going to say pray that the Lord judges the deep state. Um, and if you don't know what that means or how that's done, um, God is the judge, point blank, period. You ask him to weigh those people against his word and ask him to judge these people. Because if they pull off what they're trying to pull off, it's literally about to be the end of the damn world. Legit, like boom, everybody gone. Because you don't blow up um, a former president without going to war. You know what I'm saying? You can't blow up a former president without going to war. And we know that based on everything they've done, all the excess death that we have, they need to cover up the criminal actions that they've done. They absolutely have to. Um, and so the best way to cover it up is for there to be war. The best way to cover up a crashing economy is for there to be war. Um, the best way to cover up everything that they've done is war. And the best way for them to steal more money is a war. The only danger is, well, the real danger is if you play nuclear war games, then everybody dead. And I think they're crazy enough to play that at this point in time. I think they're desperate enough to play that game. Well, I know they are. You have to be desperate. If you took a shot at a president a presidential candidate missed, took a shot at him, and then you changed the narrative on Tuesday. I mean, think about how quick it was. Completely changed the narrative. Now, when the Trump assassination attempt happened, and you went to Google Trends, that was not the top thing on the Google Trends. That's how I found this Iranian thing. It was the top on Google Trends, the number one trending thing, and it only had like one article out, and it was the number one trending article. And I'm like, okay, so how is this trending on Google like this when the assassination attempt itself didn't trend at all? That's how I know it's a part of the narrative. And that's how I know they want that narrative out there. So um, they may need a few more days of settling in the end. They have to remove the assassination attempt out of people's minds. They may need a few more days, but I don't even think they're going to do that. I think they're desperate enough to do it now. You know what I'm saying? I think they're desperate enough to do it now. It's not necessarily they can't blame that assassination attempt on Iran. Now, if you see in the news, which I haven't watched the evening news, I only watch it in the morning because it's just you have to really think when you and by the evening time I'm just tired. I don't want to think about that. Um, But if they're trying to directly tie the Iranians to that assassination attempt, then they're trying to cover up and create space. And I'm wrong. But I didn't see that because the news article said this was completely separate from the existing assassination attempt. And these were two separate things. So, but if they try and link the two together, then you know they're trying to find a way to cover their tracks. But I mean, you don't have that little boy be no damn Iranian. I mean, that don't make no sense. If it's an Iranian terrorist or Iranian military person, ain't no missing that shot. You know what I'm saying? Especially when the Secret Service stood down for 26 minutes. So, yeah, that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. You can see the play everywhere. You can see it everywhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are praying people, um, I'll teach you something really quickly, then I'm going to go get in the bed. Midnight is, for Christians, is the hour of legislation. Midnight for, according to Jesus Christ, is what's called the hour where darkness reigns. If you go back and you look at when Jesus and his disciples went into the Garden of Gethsemane, um, he was trying to get them to stay awake. And he was like, stay awake with me and pray. And he went to go pray, came back, they were asleep. Stay awake with me and pray. When he went to go pray again, came back, they were asleep. Stay with me and pray. Went back again, they were asleep. When they came and got Jesus, remember, one of his disciples took out a sword, sliced off the guy's ear. He fixed the guy's ear and healed it. And Jesus reprimanded them, saying, I was with you every day in the temple, but you come to me now. He said, but this is your hour where darkness reigns. And so when you see Jesus in the Bible making a statement, he makes that statement for a reason. The time when that was happening was right around midnight. And so as a Christian, it's the time of night where you legislate in the spirit realm. And by legislation, you have to understand Revelations 1:5-6, where the Bible says, for we have been made kings and priests unto God. And understand your role as an intercessory prayer or prayer person that as an intercessor, then you know that's the hour of legislation. And that's when you legislate and pray for to try and shift things that are happening in the spirit realm. And so if you just happen to be up at midnight, then pray. Pray that the Lord himself intercedes in this. Pray that he intercedes. I've been seeing him intercede and deal with stuff, but I think it's extremely important that you pray against this one. Now, these are conversations I have in Bible study with the men of steel in private, but I'm making this one public because this is an extremely dangerous time. I mean, super extremely dangerous time. And if they can't pull this off, then it breaks their back. I mean, it literally breaks the back of the deep state if they cannot pull this off. Because now you've tried everything. It's going to break their will. And they're going to have to go through the election. They're going to have to go through losing. Then as soon as they lose, they'll be trying to crash the economy. So, yeah. If you're going to be up, get your prayer on. You know what I'm saying? Get your prayer on. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here. Peace out.